Jet lag finally wore off today, so it seemed time to start my brand new, expensive, black Italian leather-bound journal. Historians will note that my bargaining skills were not yet sharpened when I made this purchase, which is why I'm trying to write costly sentences to justify my expenditure, i.e., historians will note. For the past couple of days since I got back, I haven't been doing anything much anyway, only sitting around my room trying to call my friends. My bedroom became a perfect decompression chamber between the European and American civilizations. I spent all my time talking to machines and was thus soon acclimated back to my motherland. No one was home. I was sorry to miss them, but glad to keep my phone time brief. I'm keeping the line open for Adam. He hasn't called. I'd like to think that he's on vacation, but school starts tomorrow, so his parents must have brought him home by now to give him time to shop for new khakis.
Flan, are you waiting for some guy to call?
Reader, note here that she pronounces my nickname not as the first syllable in my name is regularly pronounced, but as a pastry or tart made with a filling of sweet Rene cheese or usually custard. Hi, Natasha. How did you know?
You just got back from your European jaunt. You've left "Hi, I'm home" messages on everybody's machines, so you haven't gone out. You are therefore sitting on your bed, reading or writing something. Now, Watson, we need school supplies, yeah? Let's meet for coffee and go buy cute notebooks.
Cute notebooks? I don't know. I sort of have to...
Yes, cute notebooks. We're going to be seniors, Flan. We have to play it to the hilt. If we can find pencils with their school colors on them, we're buying them. But of course, we'll need coffee first. I'll meet you at Well-Kept Grounds, okay?
Wait, when?
Whenever we get there, dearest. On the continent, did you forget how we operate? Did you forget us entirely? Nobody got even a postcard.
Sorry.
Yes. Leave the machine on in case he calls, and I want to hear all about it. The more you talk with machines and the more they talk with you, the more acclimated you'll get to American civilization. Ciao.
I was happy to see Natasha again. It's often difficult to keep up with her Bette Davis meets Dorothy Parker act, but underneath that she'd do anything for me. Well-Kept Grounds is tucked into a neighborhood full of hippie preteens and bookstores dedicated to the legalization of marijuana, but the surroundings are a small price to pay for the cafe's collection of fabulous 50s furniture, and for not charging extra if you want almond extract in your latte, which I always do. Natasha was there already. I saw her lipstick first, though her forest green rayon dress was a strong second. "Flan!" she called, sounding like she was ordering dessert. Men in their mid-20s looked up from their used paperbacks and alternative newspapers and followed her with their eyes as she cantered across the grounds. She gave me a hug, and for a second I was embraced by a body that makes me want to go home and never eat again. Natasha is one of those high school students who looks less like a high school student and more like an actress playing a high school student on TV. "Hi," I said sheepishly, wishing I had worn something more glamorous. Suddenly, a summer of not seeing each other seemed like a long time. She stood in front of me and looked me over. She swallowed. We both waited. "I'll go get a drink," I said. Natasha looked relieved. "Do that." The men in their mid-20s slowly returned to their used paperbacks and alternative newspapers. What I would give to have someone in college look me over. I got my drink and went and sat down across from Natasha, who put down her book and looked at me. I looked at the spine of the book. "Erotica by Anais Nin? Does your mother know?" "Mother lent it to me," Natasha said, rolling her eyes. She always calls her mom Mother as if she's some society matron, when in fact she teaches anthropology at City College. I thumbed through the book as Natasha took a sip of some bright green fizzy drink. "I can see you biting and scratching," She learned to tease him, too. The moans were rhythmic, then at times like the cooing of doves. When people thumb through this book, those italics will catch their eyes, and they'll spot a pornographic sentence before the page flips by. Writer's got to sell herself. "Why no latte?" I asked, gesturing to the green potion. "I thought it was mother's milk to you." "After this summer, it's begun to taste like some other bodily fluid," Natasha said, looking at me significantly. Her eyes were very carefully done. They always are. "Do tell," I said, happy to have arrived at a topic that didn't involve my confession of love, written in a hurried, Chianti-laced scrawl on a postcard. Just thinking about it made me want to hide under the table, which was painted an unfortunate fiesta-wear pink. "All right, I'll talk about my love life, but then we'll talk about yours. But first, this Italian soda needs a little zip." Natasha found a flask in some secret pocket and added a clear liquid to the soda, watching me out of the corner of her eye. She's always taking out that flask and adding it to things. I often suspect that it's just water, but I'm afraid to call her bluff. She went on to describe some guy she met at the Harvard summer program in comparative religion. Natasha's always had a fascination with what people worship. Kate says Natasha's actually fascinated that people aren't worshipping her instead. In any case, each summer anthropologist Mom plunks down her hard-earned money for Natasha to fly across the country and make out with gorgeous men, all for the cause of higher learning. According to Natasha, this one was 5 years older than us and attended a prestigious liberal arts school, the name of which I'm not sure I can mention here, lest its reputation become tainted due to its association, however brief, with the notorious Basic 8. "He was said to be brilliant," Natasha said, "but to be honest, we didn't have too many conversations. It was mostly sex. It'll be a while before I order any drink with steamed milk again." She drained the rest of her soda in an extravagant gesture, and I watched her throat as she swallowed, taking mental notes. I sighed. How perfect my recall of these small details. I sighed, reader. I remember it as if it were yesterday. You go to the puritanical city of Boston and hook up with a genius who also happens to be an excellent lover. Natasha used a blood-red nail to poke a hole in my sentence. More accurately, he was an excellent lover who also happened to be a genius. And I go to Italy, the most romantic country in the world, and the only man who makes my heart beat faster is carved out of marble. I briefly described my experience with Michelangelo's David. She broke character for a full minute as she listened to me, shaking her head slightly. Her silver earrings waved and blinked. I was a little proud to have hushed her. Even my best poems haven't done that. When I was done, she remembered who she was. "So this is the guy you're waiting to hear from?" she asked. "Can I give you a piece of advice? Statues never call. You have to make the effort." "You have experience in this realm?" I said. "And here I thought you only slept with anything that moved." Natasha threw back her head and cackled. UP and AN went down again. The men all sat and wished they were the ones making her laugh like that. I jumped in while she was laughing. "It's Adam State. I'm waiting for Adam State to call." Once I finally told someone, it seemed much smaller. A problem made not of earth-shattering natural forces, but of proper nouns. First name Adam, last name State. Her cackling stopped like somebody pulled the plug. "Adam State?" she screeched. "How can you have a crush on anyone who has a name like a famous economist?" "It's not because of his name. It's because of that sine qua non," Natasha finished, batting her eyelashes. She stopped when she saw my face. "Don't get angry. You know how I am. Underneath all my Bette Davis meets Dorothy Parker act, I try to be good, really. There's no accounting for taste. Do you think it will work out?" I bit my lip. "Honestly?" Natasha looked at me as if I suggested she keep her hair natural. "Of course not. Honestly. The very idea." "In that case, yes, it will definitely work out. I'm just worried about how Flannery State will look on my stationery." "You could do that hyphenated thing. Culp State, say." Sounds like a university, where criminals go after high school. I finished my latte and paid careful attention to the taste of the milk. I didn't notice any real similarity, but my palate isn't as experienced. "This is a secret, Natasha." "Mum's the word," she said. Her hair looked gorgeous. "Don't say the word to me. My parents have vanished as far as I'm concerned." "You have to stop traveling with them," she said, smiling slightly as her eyes met one of her admirers. "Get them to send you to summer school. You'll learn things." "Thanks, but there's enough steamed milk in my life." "Come on, you need to buy notebooks so you can write his name on them in flowery letters." I rolled my eyes and followed her across the street to a stationery store. We opened our purses and bought things, notebooks, pencils, paper with narrow, straight lines. Our school colors weren't available, which is a good thing. Rober's colors are red and purple. She drove me home, which made me worry a little bit about the flask. I leaned back in the passenger seat and everything felt like a transatlantic flight again. I hoped I had enough interesting books, but for now I felt at ease, pampered even. It was almost dusk. I rolled down the window and felt air rush into my mouth. I stole a look at Natasha as she stole a look at me. Friends, we smiled, and I closed my eyes again and let the sublime noise surround me. "The music is great. Who is this?" Natasha turned it up. "Darling Mud. They're all the rage in England." It sounded great. It was all thundering percussion and snarling guitars, and the chorus told us over and over that one thing led to another. "On and on and on and on," the singer wailed. On and on and on and on. As I opened the door to get out, Natasha touched my hand. "Listen, if you want Adam, you're going to have to move. I talked to Kate just the other day, and she had talked to Adam just the other day. He's apparently been getting crazy love letters from someone all summer. He wouldn't tell her who." Natasha's voice sounded too careless for these remarks to be well placed. I could have told her then that it was me, but I didn't. I could have told her I was in love and didn't just have a crush, but I didn't. Maybe I would have saved us all the trouble in the next few months, but I didn't tell her. School starts tomorrow, and with it the chattering network of friends telling friends secrets. On a postcard! I'm so stupid. I got out of the car and Natasha drove off. All I heard as she left was one thing leading to another.